Welcome to the Fundraising Leadership Mini Podcast, where we share tips to empower leaders in the nonprofit world. I'm Michelle Malloy Dillon, and I'm here with my colleague, Janice Cunning.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Janice. It's great to chat with you today.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about 3 ways to get, we're going to say stuff done, although we have a slightly different title.
Doesn't always feel like stuff. Sometimes it feels a little bit more negative.
And and this is really about collectively getting stuff done. You know, as a leader, how can you empower and motivate your team to be taking responsibility, I would say.
Yeah, and as a leader, you have an important role to play in making sure there's a strong culture of accountability on your team and making sure that stuff does get done. So, and if it doesn't get done, it creates this whole spiral of inaction and blame and then shame and then inaction and then blame and then shame. It's like it creates this whole spiral, and it's a waste of time and energy. In fact, I do a lot of coaching with my clients around this very stuff.
Yeah, it always, I remember one of my jobs, like we had a period just where it just felt like we couldn't get traction, on getting things done for a variety of reasons. But it's draining, it's demotivating, like people want to show up at work and feel like they're accomplishing things, and making a difference. And when I think about when we did get traction and really did start to make some innovations, a big piece of it was that we built in checkpoints, so when we would set like our goals for the year, we made sure that actually like every month we were staying on top of those. We had a lot of clarity around like the next step and what's the next step after that, and who was responsible. And there was like a built-in way of checking in, but also, I mean, like it felt like we cared, something was actually going to happen.
Yeah. Well, what you're pointing out is, sometimes somebody might not understand the importance of getting something done, or they don't understand the point. And when there's no buy-in or there's no understanding of what they actually need to complete or how they'll know it's complete, it ends up being that sort of incompleteness, right? It's never quite done, or it's always being prolonged, or whatever that is.
Yes. Yeah. It reminds me, the author Gretchen Rubin, who I love, she often says in her podcast, like something that can be done at any time is often done at no time,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's like, it's just not clear, like that I'm supposed to actually do this. And though I think, people, I saw this funny thing on social media the other day where somebody, so I don't remember who, but they posted something like, I procrastinated on something for 3 months and it took me 10 minutes to get it done. I learned nothing from this lesson,
Right.
Like we tend to, like a lot of times in life we do that. We put something off and then you finally do it and you're like, oh boy, that was not hard at all.
Yeah, right. Right. And there's also this fine line between, telling people what to do and being clear with what needs to be done, and then also giving people a bit of latitude in how they're going to get it done. Because very few of us, maybe none of us, ever react well to being told, do it this way, do it by then, right? We feel like we're being treated like a child.
Yes.
And there's not a lot of empowerment in that.
Yes.
And yet, as leaders, leaders often have specific deadlines that they're accountable to, and they've got to get their direct reports to be online with those kind of deadlines and things like that. And this is the trap that gets fallen into.
And I'm not a parent, Michelle, but you are, and you probably know the same with raising your kids.
Oh, completely. Raising a family is a perfect, test lab for being a leader in any organization.
And it's interesting, like, as you know, I have a rescue dog. And so we tried to learn a lot about training, dog training, because dogs, same thing, you can't make them do things. And there's a new way of thinking that I really like where they're like, when you tell your dog to sit, for example, it's not a command, it's a cue, because they're like, actually, they can choose
Yeah.
to follow that cue. And it's your job to motivate them to want to follow your cue. And I
Right.
thought, like, that's really a very powerful way of thinking about it, right? Because like sometimes they choose to ignore you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And and if they follow the cue and if they understand the importance of it for whatever from their perspective, there's that treat dangling in front of them
Yes.
or whatever it is,
Usually it's
right?
food.
Which also works with people, by the way. So, you know.
So yeah, so this has many, many applications in life, whether you have children, a rescue dog, or you're working as part of a team. So yeah.
So there's three key questions that we really work with our clients to help create this way of getting things done. So three questions that you can use in these kind of conversations. What will you do? So meaning, okay, I've told you the parameters for this job that we're doing. I've told you what's going on. Okay, now what's your part in it? What will you do here? It's
Yeah.
a way that you get people to reflect back on what they just heard you say, so you get clarity about whether the understanding is there about what's happening.
Yes, I think that's important because yeah, it's a moment of them taking ownership, but it's also a little like maybe a tweak might be needed, right? Because maybe you realize like, oh, I didn't explain that properly, and there's a bit of a
Mhm.
misunderstanding as to what happened.
Absolutely. So this is a really important question to ask. What will you do? That's the question, the first question. The second question is by when will you do it? And once again, this is a chance for them to say, well, the deadline is such and such, so I'll get it to you by then. And then you can renegotiate, say, well, that's the deadline I have with my superior to get it done. So can you get it to me, 2 days prior to that so we can take a look at it? Or, whatever. You can have that
Yeah.
conversation together.
Yes. Yeah. And I think often the first piece is more clear. Like people do leave a meeting, like one on one or a team meeting, often knowing something has to get done, but the actual like timing of it is often not, it's assumed or it's vague. Yeah. So I think that one's really important. And what's the third question, Michelle?
The third question is how will you report back? So how will I know that you've completed this? And you notice there's some leeway in that. Like the person gets to choose. Let's set up another meeting, or I'll email you, or I'll text you, or I'll call you, or whatever that is. But there is a way that the person can create some ownership on how they will report back to you on that. And there's some clarity. So often, like I see this so many times in working groups, is they say, okay, we all know the deadline. Cool, know the deadline. And the deadline comes and goes, and it's like, did they do it? I don't know. I have no idea if it was done.
Yeah. And it causes a lot of stress. If you're just not sure, like you're sort of like holding the emotional burden of that until you know that it's done, right? So I think it's really important that it's like the onus doesn't have to be on you to like close the loop on everything. You can expect that people are going to report back to you. So yeah, so
Right.
they're very simple questions, and yet we've seen over and over because we've done a lot of work with individual leaders and teams around this that they can actually fundamentally change an organization. So what we're going to offer to our listeners as a call to action is if you're not currently asking those questions in that clear of a way when you finish your either one-on-one or team meetings, then we want you to try that and see what the impact is.
This podcast is brought to you by Fundraising Leadership. We provide unique coaching and training programs to grow nonprofit leaders. Please subscribe. If you haven't already, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. If you are enjoying the show, you can help us continue to bring thoughtful content with a one-time contribution. This supports our production costs and helps keep the show ad-free. Please make a contribution today using the link in the show notes. Now, go put it into practice.